water. I feel dehydrated.
Hey guys.
No one's on there, but like, hey guys. Oh, last one's on there.
Is that funny to you, Tessa?
Yeah.
Yeah? There's people on here. They're watching.
Yeah, now there is. But you said, hey guys, and no one was on there.
Cassie, you should have stayed on there. We had like another 40-minute conversation. I was like, where did you go? And then you were gone. So, hey everybody. Welcome to the Datey Den here. I've got some slightly uncooperative children tonight. Self-inflicted over here.
What does that mean?
Means that you got behind on your homework and then you're being pouty because you had to do extra homework.
Hi, Brandis.
Okay, that's what that means. So, hi Susan. Hi Mr. Beckebeck. Hi Kevin. Hi Amy. Wait, how do they do that? How do they? That's like this, right?
What?
Come over here and say hi. Say hi. Tell everybody why you're so cranky.
Tessa?
It's not your sister's fault. Then why did you say? So it's Tessa's fault you can't help film tonight? Why?
This is rude.
That's ridiculous. She's your big sister. You're supposed to love and adore her. What's wrong with you? So, we took yesterday off, I think, Sunday.
Yeah.
Had a nice family day yesterday. And I finally figured out the theme for, JC has 6% battery, asked them to charge their phone. JC's not home yet. She went to her boyfriend's house tonight. We were very kind and loving parents and told her she could stay until 9:30 instead of 9.
Aw. Hi, Rivian.
But regardless, tonight we're starting the new theme. So every week, or I guess we did 19 days in a row of 19-minute meals. Then we did a week of the Snack Shack. We don't really have an official name for this week's, but what we're going to attempt to do is hi Toddy, Todd the Body,
Chloe.
Todd the Bod. We're going to do Italian staples, I guess. I don't even know what the hell that means. But tonight we're going to show you guys how to do some house-made pasta. Make pasta in your kitchen.
They wouldn't let me do this alone.
Who wouldn't let you do this alone?
You guys, I asked to do it before and Mom said no.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I wanted to make homemade pasta and you guys wouldn't let it me.
Do you know how?
I saw a video.
Okay, well, I'm going to show you tonight live in person, and you can make it anytime you want after that. Is that fair? I don't care if you make it alone.
No, she can't.
If you clean up after yourself, which is one thing you have the tendency not to do.
I do.
No, you don't.
All right, let's get started here, guys. We're going to make... I don't have any time limits, but I'm not going to, like, slow poke it either. All right, we're just going to bang this out. Do I have anything to talk about? I did do a very unscientific Facebook post yesterday asking people if they're planning on going out to eat or stay at home once the ban is lifted. And it just for the final tally, it was 63% of respondents said nope, they were not planning on going out to eat. And which makes, I believe, 36%
If you
of
eat
the
pasta,
folks.
are you still vegan?
Yes. Well, no, because I'm making mine with eggs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. It would be maybe considered vegetarian, but maybe not vegan. So, guys, that's just what my poll said.
Hi, JC.
Don't know what to expect. JC wants to be a part of our live video.
Too bad, sucker.
Why not let her? She can... Checking in with JC over here. All right, let's get started. Waste of time. Crystal, come here. Here. Tessa. What? That's ridiculous.
Again?
I'm hanging up on you. You're grounded.
No one I don't hate hair, like pink hair.
Okay, come over here.
I did have pink hair. That was close.
I have a pot of water over here, but I have a little saute pan on top of it as my lid. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Because we're gonna make fresh pasta. Okay, but while we're doing that, we're gonna get the ingredients ready for a dish called truck driver style pasta that we're gonna cook with the fresh pasta. Okay.
Do you want me to video or what?
I know this is a little bit backwards here, but I'm going to take some garlic slices. This is not necessarily always the first step you would do when making fresh pasta, but you'll follow along. You'll stay with me to the end,
Or will they?
or will they? I can see though. That's the great thing. And if I see people just watch for like a minute and then hang up, I go block them so they can't ever watch anymore.
No, you do not.
Well, one person already left,
Entertaining in
so
that 1 minute.
One person already left. Find out who that was.
2 people.
Banned for life.
It's okay. Trying to find. Do
Okay,
I not
we've
have
got
pockets?
some garlic.
I guess I don't have pockets.
Okay, we're gonna take a little knock of butter here. Just so there's no confusion, this is a stick of butter. This is a knock of butter. Okay, so when you hear me say knock of butter, or any chef say knock of butter, that's a knock of butter. We're gonna take a knock of butter, but I'm cutting it into 3 pieces. And I'm gonna put it in that pan up there that's on top of the water, just getting warm, right? We're just gonna
Ew.
we're just gonna kind of soften that garlic and a little bit of butter. Okay, we can come back over here.
Grandpa's watching.
We're gonna
Grandpa did.
make some pasta, fresh pasta. Everybody wants to know how to make fresh pasta. We've got some flour.
I
I
could
want
make
you to
it.
pay attention. We're not really measuring anything, right? We're kind of making sense of it all.
I didn't touch that.
Put some flour in the bottom of a bowl.
You're eyeballing it.
Approximately 3 cups, 3.5 cups.
What are you doing right now?
I'm making a little well. You'll notice I'm using a mixing bowl. Why do I want to use a mixing bowl?
So you don't get flour everywhere.
So I don't make a mess on the initial part of it. You are correct, Tessa. You just won a free trip to nowhere.
What about outside?
Right. To quarantine homework.
How about outside?
Okay. We make it well. We have 5 eggs right here. 5 eggs. Why 5 eggs?
'Cause that's enough eggs.
That's enough eggs. So much eggs you need.
Because that's how many eggs you need. Okay.
I didn't know that could do that.
So my recipe typically is 3.5, 3, 2. 3.5 cups of flour, 3 whole eggs, 2 egg yolks. Okay? So we're gonna take whole eggs, 3 of them, right in the middle of our well. Then we're gonna take 2 egg yolks. Why do we want extra yolks?
Cause to help make the dough.
Yeah, softer, richer, better texture. Okay,
Oh no.
right there.
Oh
That's
no.
why you gotta be a better actress than that.
Oh no.
Oh, okay, a fork is really all I need.
What do you mean by actress? Like I gotta act like it doesn't happen?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I
Okay.
just
Why
like
do you
got really
always use a fork for
disappointed.
everything, Dad?
It's just easier.
I just
Why
got
don't you
really
use like a spoon?
poor baby. Oh, he just
Okay,
stepped on
A
Coco.
little bit of salt,
How much would you say that is? A tablespoon?
a pinch, 2 pinches of salt. Remember, we use kosher salt so we can feel it. Okay.
Does it need to be brown eggs or
Any
what
type
eggs
of
do you
any type of eggs are
suggest?
good. And I'm just kind of folding this in, spinning my bowl, and kind of slightly
Why can't I make
folding in a little bit of flour from the outside. But I'm also kind of pushing the bottom of the well out, right? So it's kind of like bringing some more flour in. If we add too much flour right out of the gate, we would be very upset with ourselves because then we wouldn't create. Can y'all kind of see that? As I don't know their angles, right? So you got this nice little well right here. We're gonna end up discarding a good amount of this flour, so don't get too caught up in that, okay?
Can I start?
Not yet. You can knead it. So what I wanna do is try to get it to where, with just the fork,
Lots of sugar.
I've got a dough that's wanting to kind of stick together
Now you're just wasting it.
to where I can kind and you'll see I'm kind of just folding it over. I'm not getting aggressive. I'm trying to keep the shape of the well, but I kind of like where this is at right here, okay?
What do you like about it? What are you looking for?
It's a mound. It's a mound of flour and egg. It's a dough. It's the best way. Okay, now I'll move this over here.
That's the flour
I'm gonna take a little bit of flour and put it on the bottom of my cutting board. Same
Is it
flour.
just regular flour? All
It's
purpose?
just,
Not a cutting board.
just
Yeah,
eggy.
it's all. That's the flour.
Okay, now we'll take our dough.
Ooh, can I?
Yeah, I'll get you there, bud. So
I
look in
could
the bottom
totally
of our
make
mixing
this.
bowl here. We don't really have any pieces that aren't part of the main dough ball, if you will. Okay, so now I want to dust the top with flour. And now I'm just going to kind of tap it, roll it over itself. Tap it, roll it over itself. Okay, now right now it's pretty wet, so we're just going to keep taking this flour out of the bowl. I'm not beating it up just yet. I'm trying to get the moisture content where I want it, right? Just using my fingertips.
Where do
folding
you
it
want the
over itself.
moisture?
I'll show you that once we get to a point. See, right now if we were to pick this up, right, we have kind of a dough ball, but it's real soft right now. We don't really have anything sticking to the bottom. Not too bad here. Okay, we'll start working this flour in. Now we can start
Hi, Paige.
getting it a little bit. And really what I'm doing here is I'm pushing this flour into the wet dough. But I can add flour, but I can't take it away if I were to get it too dry. So I haven't added any more from that initial one. Okay, now we're getting pretty close to where we'll do our first test. Okay. So now we've got this dough ball, right? This is all the extra flour we have here, which isn't too crazy. What I do is I take my knuckle, kind of like a dry knuckle, and dive it right into the middle of that dough and see if anything sticks to it, right? I feel like that's pretty good. It comes out real clean. Okay, so we know that we more or less have the flour content that we want, even though we're still gonna, okay, Blaze, come here. Now you're gonna watch what I do. You're
Yes,
gonna
I've been watching.
knead it, push it. And you use this part to push it. Push it. Push it. Now, if that starts sticking to your wrist like that, what do you think that means?
It's more flour.
Right, it needs a touch more flour.
Yeah.
Be aggressive with it.
Right.
Okay. Yep. you're good. Okay, so what I'm doing here, same thing. It's the same test. It's like the first test is the knuckle, second test is right here. Okay. Keep kneading that. You want it to be soft as a baby's butt.
He wouldn't know what a baby butt feels like. He's the baby boy of the family.
Yeah, I had 3 ago. I know what a baby's butt feels like.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
Okay, it's a good job.
Neither do you.
So how much flour do you have in your hand?
Why would you touch my butt?
Why are y'all arguing? You're ridiculous. Okay, so we're gonna keep kneading this over itself again. I'm checking my palm here to see what my stick level is here.
You want it to be dry.
I want it to be dry. I don't want it to really stick to me, but I don't want it to be, it's still pliable, right? Really what we're doing right here is creating the gluten. The other thing you're looking at is your cutting board. Like if it's rolling off your cutting board, not sticking, that's good. So this is really good. This is kind of where I like it. It's not sticking to me. And we talked about it being smooth as a baby's butt, right? So we form this ball. Heads up, big guy.
So it looks like.
We're probably gonna keep this off to the side. Okay. Okay, so now we've got this dough ball, all right? So now what do?
We put in the thing.
We're making we're doing
Italian
Italian
staples.
staples.
Take a bag, Ziploc
Tonight,
bag,
You're making pasta.
put this in there, okay? Wrap it up. Let it sit on your counter least 30 minutes, okay? It can sit there for several hours. But what happens is, smoke and mirrors of TV production, we have the dough that's been made earlier. So I made this dough a couple hours ago, to be honest with you. But what happens is, it allows, it's gonna stick a little bit, which isn't that big of a deal because we have flour right here. But what it does is it allows the fat and the protein of the egg and egg yolks to be completely absorbed and hydrated into the flour. So now we have this beautiful pliable dough. Okay? So now what we're gonna do is dump this flour out. Why do we want to dump that flour out?
So you can have the bowl.
What's that?
So you can have the bowl.
So what?
So you can have the bowl.
I don't even really need this bowl anymore, to be honest with you. Throw a flour right here. Throw a flour here. No, we want to do that because
What does it feel like, Blaze?
It was like dough.
Oh.
No duh.
I don't even know what I was saying. Oh, because we don't want the little crumblies of the egg in there, okay? Right, so now what we have is this soft, pliable dough just sitting at room temperature. A little bit of flour on each side.
What does it smell like?
Smells like an egg dough. Okay,
I wonder why.
it almost looks and feels like pizza dough, right? So what we're trying to do is just kind of create, how are we gonna roll this out? What noodle are we gonna do? Y'all wanna check out our little butter garlic over there, give them an update on that? Really, I was just checking my boiling water underneath, okay? But what we have is just our little garlic just kind of sitting there softly melting in that butter, okay?
Melting?
Melted. Okay, so I got the old school cranker Imperia here. Okay, I've got it on the 0 setting, or the 1 setting. Then I have a knife, okay?
Yay.
Really?
Yay.
So what I like to do, if you look at the shape of that, I try to kind of square it up a little bit. Okay, crank it away, buddy. Okay, well, so if you'll notice, this dough is soft, right? I mean, it's pliable. I'm stretching it just like that. A lot of that's because I had it at room temperature, which just makes it a little bit easier on this. It doesn't put as much stress on it. You're gonna crank it this way,
I know.
okay? So I do have flour slightly on both sides. Okay, go ahead. And I just kind of feed it in there. Okay, now what we do here is this is where we decide kind of how does it feel. I could fold this over itself and widen it if I wanted, if I was like in a professional kitchen situation, I wanted to make ravioli. I don't really feel like we need to do that right now because we're just making, go ahead. I always do the first one twice, and then you move on to the next one. Why do we want to do that? Because we're stretching the gluten. Go ahead, bub. Because we're stretching the gluten and we want to let it relax. So it's like stretch it, relax, stretch it, relax.
That's kind of tiring.
Yeah, imagine doing this all day, every day, running a restaurant. That's a pasta restaurant. Okay, contracts. Now, I normally skip over, so we'll go from 1 to 3.
So basically the wheels get closer together, right?
Yep. Which then thins out your dough.
So the next time you just do one time?
Yeah, just one time once you get past level. What level you take it to is just simply personal preference, right? So this is going to 5, so I went from 1
What does
to
0
3
mean on it?
to 5. Well, that's the widest one. 0 is the widest.
0 is the widest one.
So the other thing we can do, just depending, we could cut these down into smaller sheets, which we will do that. This is on level 5. I feel like
That's
this.
really thin.
No, duh.
Yeah, but you got to remember when you boil it, Bubba, in the water, it takes on that water, right? So
Yeah.
it'll plump up a little bit. Okay, so this is level 5. This would be the big argument here, whether I go
It's almost as long as me.
1 more to 6 and do like real thin pasta, or a little fatter, toothier. What do you want?
I want
Fatter.
6.
You want thin pasta?
Yeah, thin.
also makes it what? More sensitive, right? You'll notice I haven't had to add any additional flour yet because I just by the feel of it, the amount of dough that I had in there. Okay, watch yourself, buddy.
But if you need to, you can add more flour.
Yeah, you can
in-
just.
in
Like,
your
I'm gonna do that
process?
now because this one's pretty thin, which means that you're getting.
Oh, it's sticking together. a
It's
little.
not necessarily completely sticking, but it wants to stick a little bit. So flour. Who moved the
Oh,
flour?
I'm sorry, I was trying to get the
Why do you
whole-
always move my mise en place?
I was trying to get the shot.
So I can just dust this.
Jeez, that's long.
Just trying to get a good angle.
You asked for it thin.
He's not lying.
A little bit of flour, just dusting. Okay, now what I'll do is cut this into strips that I want, lengthwise.
What do you make? What kind of noodle are you making?
I don't know, I'm gonna make that call hamburger.
Oh wow.
Thin layer, roll that over itself,
Can I eat this?
thin layer. I'm not pushing down on them really, I'm just kind of laying them on top of each other. Thin layer of flour, put that on there. Thin layer of flour. Okay. Now what we'll do, I'll show you here in a second. This one still needs to go through, right?
Yeah.
Let's do this because it'll be easier. Let's cut it in half now. Go ahead.
Here, let me try this one.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Oh my gosh.
Come on.
It's as long as it was before.
Okay, a little bit of flour, a little dust.
A little bit longer too.
So I'm just creating like a stack here. If I have the right flour and the dough is at the right texture, it won't stick together. If it sticks together, it means you're too wet. You needed more flour. What do you do if it's too wet?
You add more flour.
Just push those things right back through. Run them through this thing a couple times. Should be okay.
So can you be too dry?
You could certainly be too dry, but that you wouldn't really get much of watch your finger. You wouldn't get much of
I
a
want to cut my finger.
you wouldn't get much of a pasta ball if it was too dry.
Gotcha.
Okay. Okay, now we can take these. Depending on what kind of noodle we want.
What noodle do we want?
Well, I would do pappardelle or I would do fettuccine. What do you want?
Fettuccine.
Sorry, I almost dropped it.
Okay, now we take some flour, put it right on top of the dough, and fluff them just real quick like that, right? So now we just have this perfect fresh pasta. Okay, let's get rid of this thing.
Not like this. Not like this.
Yeah.
We really haven't made too much of a mess, which is nice. We do have some Parmesan Reggiano. Okay, truck driver pasta. This kind of the story is this is what truck drivers would cook for themselves if they had to pull off for the roadside in Italy. It's tomato, basil, Parmesan, butter, simple. We have some fresh dough. We've got our warm garlic butter here, right? Pasta water's at a full boil. Let's toss this in there.
Can I put this in?
Sure.
Yay.
Light, drop them in. Immediately stir that real quick.
Woo! That scared me. Cool, scared boys too.
Okay, while that pasta's cooking, we'll come back over here. Tomato. I'm just gonna kind of cut these into little quick dice. No questions tonight?
No.
No.
Everybody's just
The
like,
only question I
whoa.
saw is, does it need brown eggs? Or does it has to be brown eggs?
Okay, diced tomato,
That's what I saw.
Yeah, because you gave up your position.
Parmesan.
You started being pasta maker.
Here, we're almost done. You don't want to fall asleep now.
I do. Just kidding.
Blaze, get us a bowl down or a plate down or like a platter out.
Like, how big?
Get a platter out.
It's under Tessa.
Oh, it's under Tessa.
Okay, Parmesan Reggiano right there.
Oh, no, wait.
Tomato, basil, 2 knocks of butter.
There's no more brownies left. Oh, wait, yeah, there's one back
Go over here and look at our pasta.
Sorry, tater tot. I just stepped.
We went pretty thin here, right? So it's only got like 3 minutes. Like it only takes about 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes max.
Wow.
Take your pasta water, eat your little pasta water saver, right? Which is so important. We want pasta water.
Not pasta. I got a couple extra.
Someone said, "How are you so wonderful?"
Okay, we're gonna dump this
That's nice.
in here. Come back over here. Put this pasta in there immediately. Blaze, can you,
How much knocks of butter? 2.
well, we're gonna finish with 2. Okay, we're gonna add pepper.
Wow, that was so elegant.
We're gonna add salt. We're gonna add our tomato. We're gonna add our 2 knocks of butter. We're gonna add our Parmesan. And the second that butter is melted, we're ready to eat. Okay? So we add the cheese and the butter, which wants to tighten the noodle up just a little bit, right? I just have this pan that went from the top of the water straight to the heat, right?
Do you use salted butter?
No, I use unsalted butter. So see, we had added 2 knocks of butter. It's almost melted. We're just stirring it around. Let's add a little bit of our pasta water texturally, right?
2 knocks of butter.
2 knocks of butter. Right, so it creates like this super simple, we're not really trying to cook anything. All we're trying to do right now is melt the butter, which is pretty much there. Add our basil. Tear it up, do something fancy. Boom, boom, boom. I wish you could smell this. It smells incredible.
Yeah, it really does.
Okay?
Dad, do you want me to turn the stove off?
And that right there is fresh homemade pasta, truck driver style.
Ooh, that
Basil,
looks
tomato, your garlic butter that did it the whole time. Guys, it's that simple. I challenge you to make this week. Show me the finished product. I hope you have a great week.
On Facebook.
Order out from your favorite restaurant, takeout or delivery. Tell your dogs to stop barking.
Coco!
Peace and love, everybody.
JC just got
Peace
home.
and love.